In this video, we will learn how to do statistics on the TI-84 Plus calculator using two given lists. Here we have example lists for x values and y values. We will now learn how to enter in the lists in our calculator. The first thing that we'll do is click Stat. Once we're at Stat, we will click Enter on Edit and enter in our x values on list 1 and our y values on list 2. Now we'll move to list 2. Now all of our lists are inputted into our calculator. We will now learn how to make a scatter plot. The first thing that we need to do when we make a scatter plot is click second y equals, which is stat plot, and click enter, and enter again to turn the first plot on. Then we will click zoom, scroll down until we find zoom stat, click enter, and here we have our scatter plot of all of our data. The next thing that we're going to do is find the linear regression line. The way that we do that is go to Stat, Calc, and go down to number 4. This will basically give us an equation in the ax plus b form of our two lists. There are also other regressions that we can do, but we're going to do the linear one in this video. Our x list is L1, our y list is L2. Now we have values for a and b for our y equals ax plus b equation. Now we will learn how to find one-var statistics. The way that we do that is go to Stat, go to Calc, and click one-var statistics. One-var statistics will just give us statistics for one of the lists. Two-var statistics will give us statistics for both of the lists. When we click one-var statistics, we'll put L1 for our list because we want to find the stats for our x values. Now it'll give us a list of things. The first thing that it gives us is the mean, which is the average of the elements. The next thing is the sum of the elements. The next thing is the sum of the squares of the elements. Then we have the sample standard deviation. Then we have the population standard deviation. And last is the number of elements in the list. If we click the down arrow, we'll get the minimum. Then we'll get the first quartile. Then we'll get the median. Then we'll get the third quartile. And then we'll get the maximum value. Now, we are going to learn how to find r and r squared. The first thing that we have to do is turn Stat Diagnostic on. The way that we do this is go to Mode, and then scroll down to Stat Diagnostics and click Enter for On. Once we do that, we then go to Stat, Calc, and we go back to number 4. Now it'll give us an r squared and an r value. What is the r value? R is a correlation coefficient, and it can be either positive or it can be negative. It can also either be strong, moderate, or weak. If it's a strong correlation, the absolute value of r is greater than or equal to 0.8. According to our data, r is 0.9687, so that means that our r is a strong correlation, and so our graph has a strong correlation. Next is a moderate correlation, if the absolute value of r is less than 0.8 and greater than 0.5. A weak correlation is if the absolute value of r is less than 0.5, and no correlation is if r equals 0. All r's are greater than or equal to -1 and less than or equal to 1. Next we have r squared, which is a coefficient of determination. This basically just measures how close the data is to its fixed regression line. It can vary from 0% to 100%. As we can see here, our r squared is about 94%, so it's very close to having almost all variations in our response variable to be around the mean. If it was close to 0%, then a lot less of our variations in the response variable would be around the mean. So that is just a gist of how to solve for statistics using two lists on your TI-84 calculator.